Are you curious about what became of the 4 children of Tina Turner? The woman the world called the Queen of Rock and Roll. Can roll behind the blinding lights, electric stages, and unforgettable anthems. Tina's greatest story was not only one of survival and reinvention, but of motherhood, an often painful, complicated, and deeply human journey that shaped the legacy she left behind. In the early 1960s, when Tina Turner, born Anna Mae Bullock, rose from a small-town girl in Nutbush, Tennessee, to the explosive frontwoman of the Ike and Tina Turner Revue, she wasn't just building a career. She was also building a family in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Over the next 2 decades, Tina would raise 4 sons, Craig, Ronnie, Ike Jr., and Michael, each growing up in the shadow of fame, conflict, and later redemption. Her life on stage was a spectacle of power. Off stage, it was marked by abuse, sacrifice, and the desperate attempt to protect her children from the chaos of her marriage to Ike Turner. And yet, through all the turbulence, her children remained the emotional heartbeat of her story. The reason she fought, endured, and ultimately escaped. As the world watched Tina Turner transform into an icon of strength and freedom, few realized that her personal life was equally defined by her devotion to motherhood, even when tragedy and distance threatened to tear it apart. Let's uncover the remarkable and heartbreaking stories of Tina Turner's 4 sons, the boys who lived through her rise, fall, and resurrection, and how their lives reflect both the cost and the triumph of carrying the Turner name. Number 4. Craig Raymond. Turner was born in 1958, before Tina Turner became a global icon. He was Tina's first child, fathered by Raymond Hill, the saxophonist from Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm band, when Tina was still Anna Mae Bullock. A teenage girl with dreams far bigger than Nutbush, she gave birth to Craig while balancing poverty, ambition, and a complicated love life. Not long after she joined Ike Turner's group, and the course of both her career and her motherhood changed forever. When Tina married Ike in 1962, he adopted Craig as his own. From that moment, Craig lived inside the eye of one of the most turbulent partnerships in music history. Life in the Turner household was unpredictable, marked by moments of glamour, overshadowed by fear. Tina later admitted that her greatest guilt came from the nights Craig witnessed the violence between his mother and Ike, a child too young to understand, yet old enough to feel the pain in the room. As he grew older, Craig became known for his quiet intelligence and sensitivity. He studied at a private school in California, and later worked as a real estate agent in Los Angeles. Unlike his parents, he avoided the stage and the spotlight, preferring stability over chaos. But even as an adult, he carried the emotional scars of his childhood. Tina often said Craig was a very emotional child, one who felt deeply and internalized more than he ever expressed. Tragedy struck in 2018, when Craig Turner died by suicide at the age of 59. His death came as a shock to the world, and to Tina most of all. She described it as her greatest heartbreak, saying that Craig had finally found peace after years of searching for it. In his final years, Craig had seemed happy, working successfully in real estate and in a relationship that brought him comfort. In interviews, Tina later spoke of his passing with the calm wisdom of someone who had learned to live through unbearable loss. She said she believed her son had simply reached a point of exhaustion, burdened by a lifetime of emotional weight. "He was my baby," she told Oprah Winfrey. "He had such a good heart." Today, Craig's story stands as a haunting reminder of the hidden cost of fame, the toll that domestic turmoil and public scrutiny can leave on those who grow up in its shadow. In Tina's words, Craig was the one who showed me what love really meant. Number 3. Ronnie Turner was born in 1960, the only biological child of Tina and Ike Turner. His birth came at a time when the Ike and Tina Turner Revue was at its peak, hit records, sold-out tours, and the illusion of perfection projected to the public. But behind the stage lights, the Turner home was anything but peaceful. For Ronnie, childhood meant growing up in a household vibrating with both music and violence. As a boy, Ronnie displayed an early musical gift. He could pick up almost any instrument and make it sing. Both his parents saw their reflection in him, Tina's emotional intensity and Ike's technical genius. When the couple's relationship collapsed publicly in the 1970s, Ronnie was a teenager caught between 2 worlds, a mother rebuilding her life from ashes, and a father whose career and reputation were imploding. Despite the chaos, Ronnie remained close to both parents. Tina often said he was his father's son, blessed with the same natural talent, but cursed with the same inner restlessness. In the 1980s, Ronnie pursued music professionally, joining his father's band for a time, and later performing with his own projects. Yet, like many children of icons, he found that the shadow of the Turner name could be both opportunity and burden. His career never reached the heights his parents once did, but his life was threaded with the same rhythm, passion, pain, and perseverance. Offstage, Ronnie's life was defined by love and struggle. He married French singer and actress Ike Turner in 2007, a relationship marked by deep affection, but also turbulence. Those close to him described him as magnetic creative and complicated, a man who inherited the extremes of both his parents. In his later years, Ronnie faced health challenges, including cancer, yet continued to live privately in Los Angeles. His devotion to Tina never wavered. When she retired from performing and moved to Switzerland, he remained one of the few constants who kept contact, checking in, sending her love and assuring her that she was still mom, not the queen of rock and roll. Tragically, in December 2022, Ronnie passed away at the age of 62 after a long battle with colon cancer. Tina, then already weakened by her own health issues, mourned him publicly, writing, "Ronnie, you left the world far too early. With you, my heart goes with you." Ronnie's story is that of a man born into music, consumed by it, and defined by his efforts to find peace within it. His life traced the same path his mother's once did, from chaos to clarity, from stage lights to stillness. He was the last living echo of the Turner duet, a reminder that even in tragedy, love endures louder than fame. Number 2. Ike Turner Jr. was born in 1958 to Ike Turner and Lorraine Taylor. But Tina Turner became his stepmother when she married Ike in 1962. From that point on, she raised Ike Jr. as her own, alongside his brother Michael, and later her biological sons Craig and Ronnie. Within the walls of the Ike and Tina Turner household, Ike Jr. witnessed both extraordinary artistry and unimaginable chaos. The band was one of the most electrifying acts in America, but the home behind it pulsed with tension, power, and control. As a boy, Ike Jr. was surrounded by music. He traveled with a review, watching his parents perform night after night under blinding lights. He was a quick study, learning to play multiple instruments and assist backstage. Yet while audiences saw glamour and rhythm, Ike Jr. saw the darker side of success, his father's volatility and his mother's pain. Tina later admitted that she tried to protect the children from Ike's temper, but couldn't shield them from everything. For Ike Jr., the memories were formative. Fame was inseparable from conflict. After Tina escaped her abusive marriage in 1976, the family splintered. Ike Jr. stayed close to his father for a time, helping with studio work and managing sound equipment, but that bond too grew strained. He once revealed that Ike was strict and often demanding, expecting perfection in both music and loyalty. Over the years, Ike Jr. struggled to find his footing, torn between the influence of two parents who represented opposite extremes, one consumed by control, the other by the search for freedom. In adulthood, Ike Jr. pursued music professionally, performing with his father and working as a sound engineer. But the family wounds ran deep. He spoke in later interviews about feeling caught in the crossfire of fame, saying, "My parents were legends, but that didn't make growing up easier. It made it harder to know who I was." Despite the distance, he expressed love and respect for Tina, acknowledging her courage to leave and rebuild her life. In recent years, Ike Jr. has lived a quiet life away from the spotlight, occasionally appearing in interviews to set the record straight about his family. While his path has included struggles with substance abuse and brief periods of incarceration, his resilience mirrors the same endurance that defined his mother's survival. Through all the turmoil, Ike Jr. has remained an unfiltered voice in the Turner legacy, a reminder that the story of Tina Turner's children is not just one of fame, but of endurance through generational pain. His journey stands as both a cautionary tale and a testament to the complexity of love inside one of music's most turbulent dynasties. Number 1. Michael Turner was born in 1960, the second son of Ike Turner and Lorraine Taylor, and the younger brother of Ike Turner Jr. Like his brother, Michael was raised by Tina after she married Ike. And together they became part of the blended Turner family that grew up amid music fame and turbulence. But Michael's story is perhaps the quietest and most enigmatic of all Tina Turner's children. A life shaped by both love and distance. In his earliest years, Michael lived in the intense orbit of the Ike and Tina Turner Revue, where constant touring meant that home life was unpredictable. Tina, despite being stepmother rather than birth mother, took on the responsibility of raising him as her own. She made sure all the children traveled together when possible, trying to give them a sense of unity, while their parents' marriage unraveled behind the scenes. By the mid-1970s, as Tina's marriage collapsed under abuse and exhaustion, the family fractured. When she fled Ike in 1976, with little more than her name, she left behind the only life she had known and the sons who were now caught between two worlds. For Michael, this separation created a deep wound that would linger for decades. In later years, he admitted that he missed Tina profoundly after she left, but he also understood why she had to go. As an adult, Michael lived largely out of the public eye, working various jobs while battling the lingering effects of the chaotic upbringing that fame had forced upon him. His relationship with both parents grew distant. Tina provided financial and emotional support where she could, but the scars from the family's implosion ran deep. Michael struggled with health issues over the years and faced occasional substance-related problems. Yet those close to him described him as soft-spoken, loyal, and protective of his family name. In interviews, Tina Turner acknowledged the pain of her separation from her older sons. "It hurt," she said, "but I couldn't take them with me into that world. I had to get out to survive." That decision, while necessary, left lasting emotional divides. Still, she never stopped caring for them. Tina quietly helped Michael through difficult times, ensuring he had medical care and stability in his later years. Michael Turner remains the most private of all her children, avoiding interviews and fame completely. His story embodies the quieter cost of Tina's fame, the unseen aftermath of survival. Yet even in distance, the bond between mother and son never broke. When asked once about her children, Tina said simply, "I'm proud of all of them. They all lived through something and came out the other side." That's strength. Michael's life, though largely hidden from public view, reflects that very strength, the endurance to carry a family name forged in both brilliance and pain. Tina Turner's life was a symphony of extremes, unimaginable triumph and private heartbreak, glamour and grit, survival and serenity. Yet behind the thunder of her voice and the fire of her performances stood 4 sons whose lives carried the echoes of that same duality. Their stories are not simply extensions of Tina's fame. They are mirrors of her humanity. Craig, her firstborn, carried her heart. Sensitive and intelligent, he saw too much too soon and spent a lifetime trying to make sense of the chaos that surrounded him. His death in 2018 broke something inside Tina, yet she remembered him as her loving baby, the child who taught her that motherhood could be her greatest act of courage. Ronnie, her only biological child with Ike, inherited both the gift and the burden of music. His talent was undeniable, his life passionate and tumultuous. When he died in 2022, after a long illness, Tina's words captured the depth of their bond. "You left the world far too early, but I will always be your mother." Ike Jr. and Michael, her stepsons, whom she raised as her own, represent the quieter chapters of the Turner legacy. They lived through the storms of their parents' fame, carrying both love and pain into adulthood. Though their relationships with Tina were at times distant, she never stopped caring for them, offering support even from across an ocean. Their resilience reflects her own, the determination to survive, to adapt, to keep moving forward. In her final years, Tina Turner found peace far from the stage, living with her husband, Erwin Bach, in Switzerland. But even as she embraced serenity, her thoughts often returned to her children, the ones who had lived through her rise, her escape, and her rebirth. "They are part of my journey," she once said. "Every joy, every sorrow, every note." The story of Tina Turner's 4 sons is not one of perfection, but of perseverance. It is about the unseen lives that grew in the shadow of a legend, and the ways love endures even when distance, pain, and time intervene. Through her music, Tina Turner gave the world power and freedom. Through her children, she revealed her deepest truth, that strength isn't only about survival. It's about love that refuses to fade, even when the spotlight goes dark.